I'm now joined by Veneman of UNICEF. Welcome, Anne.
Thank you.
You just gave a presentation. Can you tell me a bit about the points that you talked about?
Well, we were talking primarily about the impact of climate change in the developing world, and I think several points. One is, what's happening in some of these small island nations. I spoke last week to the president of Kiribati, which is a series of islands in the Pacific, and he was talking about how in the UN he has been coming every year to try to get this on the agenda, and finally people are listening. He said that the sea level rise is impacting the coastal communities, it's impacting people's livelihoods, their fishing, their farming. So one of their strategies for adaptation is to educate young people on the kinds of jobs that they can export to different countries so they don't have to become climate refugees. I spoke to a delegation from Nepal, and they were talking about the glaciers melting in the Himalayas and how that was creating more lakes in the whole Himalaya region. But as well, it was impacting the sea levels on countries like, for example, the Maldives. So some of these island countries, again, impacted by the melting of the Himalayas. They were also talking about how the impact on their rice producing areas, that they were having failed crops because the rains weren't coming as predictably as before. And so I think all of these are indications of what's going on. West Africa, for example, many impacts on the coastlines. But what happens is there is such impact on the most vulnerable people, from increased disasters like we're seeing today in the Philippines. And I will be going there next week to look at the recovery programs that UNICEF is involved in with many others. The natural disaster numbers have gone up dramatically, the severity has gone up dramatically, and who's most impacted? It's the vulnerable people who live in the floodplain areas. There are 3 countries in the world that are most likely to have the flood-impacted deaths, and that's China, India, and Bangladesh.
Can you perhaps give me some case studies of initiatives that UNICEF are undertaking with regards to the environment?
Well, the role of UNICEF is primarily in helping children in times of disasters. So the concerns that we have about increasing numbers of disasters, we have been very proactive within these developing countries in helping produce disaster mitigation plans, for example. On the issues of child hunger, again, trying to address the issues of child malnutrition, particularly through addressing those children who have acute malnourishment. So with special products like ready-to-use therapeutic foods, we provide a lot of the supply that's used in the developing world to address these issues.
Well, Anne, thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for your insight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.